What's going on, guys? Winner Kills here. Welcome back to a brand new duel video. We've got here Pendulum Magicians versus SPYrals. Ironically enough, the person playing Magicians is playing on the Spiral mat, which is kind of ironic since he's playing against SPYrals. One of his Wisdom Eye Magicians, which is now, I think, back to 3, will get Ghost Ogred after it brings out that Black Fang Magician. But one thing I was going to comment on was the mat, and I think it's a very nice looking mat. My friend Adam on the left there doesn't seem to be too fond of it, but I think it's a cool looking mat. I think it's a little bit different than the mats they've done in the past, where they have just sort of a whole, you know, big portrait shot of all the monsters in a certain archetype together. And I kind of like how it looks sort of like a comic book in that aspect. But my friend, like I said, on the left, not too fond of it. But Red Resonator getting things started, getting that quick fix out with the machine dupe. Of course, the Spiral player always has the machine dupe to go along with the quick fix. That'll net him a couple of searches right there. He's got Spiral Resort up as well, which I believe will end up protecting most of his Spiral monsters. I think the only card that can be targeted or something, or maybe destroyed, or one of those ones that I'm not too familiar with the Spiral archetype. I know a basic understanding of it, but I think the only way Spiral cards can be targeted or destroyed in a certain way is if Spiral Resort is destroyed instead. Tatsunoko coming out, and then synchroed with, I think, a level 4 monster in his hand. I think it might have been Secret Agent or Tough, or one of the level 4 Spiral monsters, going to Ancient Fairy Dragon to destroy his Spiral Resort to grab another copy. I can only imagine, so he can end up using Resort again. We'll activate it. Get the effect to, I believe, add a Spiral card. He's going to add, I don't know what that one's name is, but I think it's a level 7 or 8, level 7 Spellcaster Dark that I think he can bring out from his hand under some certain condition. I don't think it's one of the bad ones, but he's going to link the fuck up into a Decode Talker. Now we're talking. Going to go Big Red into Secret Agent, or Super Agent. Make sure he puts that Super Agent in the right monster zone. Doesn't want to block a zone that he could potentially put an extra deck monster. He'll get rid of the Black Fang Magician, and then he'll summon another quick fix. Looks like by discarding one of his Spiral monsters, the one they added off of his Resort, and he'll get another search off that. All the quick fix searches. Discarding another Spiral card to special summon another quick fix. And get another search of Big Red. Now, I don't really know what would have happened if that Ghost Ogre never went off. And I think he just added another copy of Spiral Resort off that Princess Sprite, that rank 1, new rank 1 that we got not too long ago. Add Spiral Sleeper. He will summon that by banishing, I think, 3 Spiral monsters from or Spiral cards from his graveyard. 2 Resorts, and looks like it's going to be the level 7. All the equips getting put on everything. Spiral Last Resort getting played on Spiral Sleeper, and Scoop Phase it is. Seems like the game is over before it already started. Technically, he could have put that Sleeper on the other end of the board. Yeah, no, he could have put the Sleeper on the other end of the board on the right side of the Super Agent if you wanted to be technical, saying like, well, he could have left that spot open for another extra deck monster. Could put it underneath the Decode Talker if he wanted to. Starting things off, Spiral player opting to go, or getting chosen to, or getting forced, I guess, to go second, because looks like our Pendulum player opted to go second. Yeah, he's getting forced to go first. I mean, what am I talking about? I can't say anything right now. I don't know what's going on, but Gofu is there nonetheless. 2 Link Spiders. one card Decode Talker. I love the simplicity of it. I like how there's a card out right now that just makes it super easy to get you started with the Link mechanic. It's not some sort of clunky mechanic that you have to work around, you know, to sort of build your deck. I think a lot of people overreacted with Links. I know some decks currently may suffer under that mechanic, but I feel like as time goes on, it will get better. Cards will come out that make it easier to link. Cards the new Link monsters that come out will be significantly better than the ones that we have now. The way I think of it is that if we look back when Ixies and Synchros first came out, a lot of those Synchros we look at aren't that great. You know, we look at some of the first Ixies monsters that came out. I can't really name a few because I wasn't playing, you know, around the time that they were first released. But if you think about it, if we look at a starting Ixies monster that we have, one of the first ones we got, whichever one that one might be, versus, you know, a year or two down the road where we get a card like Dracosack. Now that's an Ixies monster in its time was a very good Ixies monster in comparison to some of the first Ixies monsters we got, and I'm sure there's plenty of examples like that with Synchro monsters like Stardust Dragon, and then we have cards like Crystal Wing. They're both level lead synchros. Arguably, one's a little harder to make, but not really if you look at how, you know, certain cards are available and make it easier to make Crystal Wing. You know, it's inevitably we're gonna get way better Link monsters. We're gonna get better support to make Link monsters happen a lot easier. And if you look about it, and if you think about it, I should say, the whole Ixies mechanic where, you know, you need to take usually 2 monsters and make your Ixies, 2 at least, that mechanic got completely scrapped with Zoo. We might get some sort of card that's like you put it on the field, boom, you get a free Link monster. I would say for those who are skeptics of this new mechanic, I would say just give it a shot. Play a couple matches in the format and you'll find out you know, you'll think to yourself, you know, hey, this isn't that bad. And I don't think it is either. After I played my first match in Link format the other day with, you know, one of my favorite decks of all time, Mermail, you know, I actually kind of had fun with it. You know, it wasn't that bad. It was a change of pace. You know, it wasn't the same old, same old. I had to do some extra steps to make my plays, and they were a little bit more interesting in doing so. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen that duel video where I do play Mermails in Link format, you should go check that out. It'll probably be annotated at the end of this video for you to click on. It'll take you right to that video. Anyways, a board established over there on the SPYRAL side. We have Decode Talker, of course, giving the Magician Pendulum player 2 zones, giving his own extra deck monster zone and the zone that Decode Talker is pointing to, giving him an extra zone. So he does get a little bit of an advantage. On his field, I believe he has, well, in his Pendulum scale, I believe he has Overdragon Magician and Double Iris Magician. And then on board, I believe he has a Black Fang Magician, and I had to look up some of these ones. Black Fang and Purple Poison Magician. Some of the newer cards that have just came out. Not half bad. This card is destroyed by battle card effect. You can target one face-up card in the field destroyed. That is the effect of Purple Poison Magician. And then he's going to bring out this Ixies monster, which is a brand new rank 4 that Pendulum's just got. And I love the artwork on it. I love how it's like one of the first Pendulum Magicians that we've gotten, or Pendulum monsters that we've gotten in sort of his evolved form. Time Star Magician, 2 level 4s. Must first be Ixie summoned by the above Ixie materials. Once per turn, you can attach 1 Ixie material from this card, add your hand 1 Dark Spellcaster type monster from your deck, graveyard, or face up from your extra deck. Once per turn, if a Pendulum monster card or cards in your monster zone or Pendulum zone will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send 1 Spellcaster type monster from your deck to the graveyard instead. So that's very, very good. Pretty much saving any of your Pendulums from any sort of destruction. That's very, very good. 2400 attack. very decent monster. Purple Poison and Black Fang and Skullcrobat Joker on the field right now. Plenty of opportunities for a rank 4 due to his opponent's Decode Talker. Another Wisdom Eye activating his effect. Gonna pop up himself to exchange for another, I believe, Magician Pendulum card. And he's gonna go for Purple Poison Magician, which his Pendulum effect is once per turn, if your Dark Spellcaster type monster battles before damage calculation, you can activate this effect. That monster gains 1200 attack until the end of the damage step, then destroy this card. So a lot of his monsters, and I think most of his monsters, if not all of them, are Dark Spellcasters. They're all going to get a pretty hefty boost. Well, it looks like it'll just be his Black Fang Magician getting that boost, and his Time Star Magician getting that 1200 boost, and it's pretty relevant. Now, there was a bit of an misunderstanding with how Decode's Talker works, and if he can tribute monsters that he points to, if they point to opponent's monsters, which apparently you cannot. It's a rule with how tributing works. You cannot tribute your opponent's monsters unless you have a card effect that states so. So if your Decode Talker, from what I've learned in this experience, is pointing to an extra deck monster on your opponent's side of the field, you cannot tribute that card to use Decode Talker's effect. It has to be one of the monsters it's linked to on your side of the field. I kind of wish they would have specified that on the card instead of having to, look back on a tributing mechanic ruling, but it is what it is. I'm not really complaining about it too much. SPYRAL Big Red being activated, and of course, Tornado Dragon will be destroying that. I think that's like one of the other second Tornado Dragons he tried to bring out that turn, but that's why you saw a couple of cuts there earlier on, because they were looking up rulings and stuff like that. So yeah, he ended up using his Tripwire on it, I think, but still had to end up tributing. I think he tributed off his Stardust Charge Warrior to prevent the effect of Tornado Dragon from going off, destroying one of his equip cards, I think. And I think that's how that went, just in case there's any confusion. So we have Super Agent getting on the board by calling the monster correctly. Of course, he's going to call monsters, I believe, because I think you have the opportunity to either call Monster, Spell, or Trap, equipping him with Last Resort and getting one search off the Quick Fix. And of course, Resort will die because there's not everything in the graveyard to shuffle back into the deck. And there it is. Time, I think that's Time or Star Pendulum Graph. Continuous Spell. That Skullcrobat Joker comboing well with a double Iris Magician and Wisdom Eye Magician being activated. So basically, Star Pendulum Graph is a broken card, and so is Time Pendulum Graph. It's a trap card. Basically, it says your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monster you control with spell cards or effects. If a face-up Magician Pendulum monster card leaves your monster zone or pendulum zone, add one Magician Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Star Pendulum Graph once per turn. So basically, a lot of these new cards that have came out for Pendulum support, and especially in a deck like this, the whole link mechanic doesn't really affect it too much, because of course you only be able to pendulum one of your extra deck pendulum monsters to your one zone, but the deck does such a good job at gaining advantage that instead of pendulum now 5 from your extra deck, it's going to be pendulum 2 or 3 from your hand, and you sort of get that same overwhelming pendulum mechanic that you did before. And this archetype, it with all the new cards, it allows it to essentially float, making it almost in a case with a card like Star Pendulum Graph on the board, you really wouldn't want to strike a pendulum summon, because I know a lot of these float. Star Pendulum Graph helps with that. You get a search if one of your pendulum cards leaves the field or the zone. You still get that added benefit even if you have your opponent make a move against you. You can still have these cards that float. Tornado Dragon and most of his other monsters attacking over. He does have, I believe, Black Fang Magician in his scale, but it says once per turn you can target One face-up monster your opponent controls, its attack becomes half its current attack at the end of the turn, then destroy this card. So he's beating over pretty much everything right now. No problem at all. Setting one back row. Of course, one of those back row being taken up by his Pendulum card, because those are now in the spell and trap zone areas. And looks like he can't get anything going. He did have a Time Pendulum Graph in hand, as well as a Pendulum Call. He just had a lot more resources there than the SPYRAL player at that game. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. If there was any sort of misplays or mishaps that happened, please be sure to let me know nicely. Just sort of let me know if there was something that couldn't have been done, because I know that can happen. Mistakes can be made. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new Pendulum support. I think it's pretty cool that the deck still can be playable, because I feel like a lot of Pendulum players were kind of upset by this link mechanic, but it looks like a lot of this new support that's come out makes it pretty viable. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, like I said earlier, and if you did, please leave a like and let me know what you think. As always, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see ya in the next one.